Are you ready for the next move in your career but don't know where to start? Stay with me and I'll share my top 3 tips to help you find the next right role. Hey fam, Ricardo here. I hope everyone is doing well. I want to give a quick shout out to all those working in the front lines, ensuring that we are safe and protected. Now, during this quarantine, I know a ton of people have started making videos and I think that is great. And now that I've started getting acquainted to my new normal and working from home here in LA, I've been inspired myself. So thank you, friends and fellow creators, for inspiring me, and y'all check out their content, it is fire. Now, I typically have conversations about career progression and career development with folks on a nearly daily basis. But given this pandemic, we're obviously seeing record highs when it comes to unemployment rates, furloughing, companies shutting down, and I think this topic is more salient than ever. I am aware of how lucky and privileged I am to still be employed right now, and I am counting those blessings. And I figured what better way to use that privilege than to share whatever tips and advice I've garnered over the past 8 years of recruiting across different industries. One quick note, all the tips and advice that I share are my perspective and my insights, and they are by no means representative of a specific company or organization. It's all your boy. So let's get started. First and foremost, make sure that you meet all of the minimum qualifications for the role. Now, most roles that you see online are gonna have a section that lists out what those qualifications are, and I highly recommend you start there. Given the fact that recruiters are often looking at dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of resumes, I can almost guarantee that the first thing they're gonna look for in your resume is those qualifications for the role that they're hiring for. Now, let me be clear. I know that a piece of paper doesn't tell the whole story. I know there's a ton of folks that still wanna apply for jobs that they don't meet the minimum qualifications for. And I know there are some candidates that may not meet all those qualifications, but would still be phenomenal in that role. But unfortunately, the reality is most companies may not have the bandwidth or scale to interview every single person who applies for a role. That said, I think a little bit of strategy can go a long way and save you a lot of time. So make sure to highlight those minimum qualifications boldly and strategically on your resume. Tip number 2, connect with someone that is actively in the role you're applying for. A recruiter or a job description will give you basic information on the role, but I believe connecting with someone actually in the role will give you the best insights. Whether it's a networking event, via email, or on LinkedIn, reach out to people that are in the role you're applying for a fresh, first-hand perspective. You may even find out that the role is not right for you, which will save you a lot of time. And if you further develop a professional relationship with that person, you may get a referral, which oftentimes ensures that your resume gets reviewed. Now, it's likely that some folks may ignore or even flat out reject your invitation to connect, but at the end of the day, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And finally, my last tip is to make sure you focus on transferable skills. First of all, what are transferable skills? Well, according to an article on Indeed.com, they are qualities that can be transferred from one job to another and can be used to position your past experience when applying for a new job, especially if it's in a different industry. So think of skills such as leadership, organization, teamwork, communication, etc. We all know the catch-22 of needing experience for a role, but needing that role for experience. The way that I mitigate that is transferable skills. Let me give you an example. People often ask me how I went from being an elementary and middle school Spanish teacher in Baltimore to being in people operations at a tech company. Well, my transferable skill was recruiting. When I was a teacher, I recruited teachers part-time as well. And when a recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn, they let me know that if I could recruit teachers, I could recruit engineers. Recruiting is a transferable skill that exists in virtually every single industry, and it's one that completely changed the trajectory of my career. One thing to note is that it is imperative that you don't just tell people what your transferable skills are. You would not imagine the amount of times I've seen the same blurb over and over again. Organized, flexible, adaptable team player with strong leadership and communication skills. Everyone, show these skills. Highlight them in practice and strategically in the experience section of your resume. So that's it. I hope you're able to put some of these tips into practice. Make sure to stay connected and remember to give yourself grace. Finding a new job is never easy, and this situation has made it even tougher. But I firmly believe your patience and resilience will pay off. That's all I have for now, but I hope to be back soon with more tips, tricks, and advice to help you professionally, or even more. Ciao.